Yeah, good. All right.
What
Right
up,
here.
Fake Sills? You didn't
Dude,
see me get up from my chair? I told you 1 sec. I got to get up. That's all right.
hey,
I heard you in my ear. I'm like, uh-oh, he's calling me up right now.
hold on here, man. I tell you what, man, my rotation was off today, man. I don't know what that was. I got Angelo at 4:30, and I got Big Z here. All right, Big Z. I heard you guys. You guys talking about culture this morning. Don't you think it's about the people you bring in the building more so than a guy that came into something that was already a good culture?
Yeah, but I mean, you were just talking about Vic, and what he lacks in being a head coach. Isn't it everything that Nick has that Vic lacks? Like we talk about Vic, and Nick is this political guy, right? Who plays the game, who does what the owner and the GM want enough to keep them at bay, who connects with the players on a personal, professional, emotional, deeper level. Vic doesn't have the capacity for any of those things. And I don't say that as a knock on him. I say that as an objective truth of that's why he's a great defensive coordinator and maybe not so great of a head coach,
Well, let me ask you this then. So you're saying Nick is less truthful than Vic?
Well, I'm saying Nick is a little more political. So yeah, when you by nature, but wait. By nature, what does being political mean? Basically means
being
lying.
Less truthful.
Well, yeah, well, being a little bit more.
I think you have to be in this sport.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that because I don't think it's all about lying. I think it's more about keeping, the status quo in some regard in certain areas where you need to keep it. And Vic doesn't really have that. And I also think the connection with the players. I mean, Vic's style of coaching works great as a coordinator, but did it work as a head coach? It didn't really work, and it's been proven. But I could see why it wouldn't work versus a style like Nick works as a head guy, but might not have worked, or his style now wouldn't work as a coordinator where that's a little bit more, of a hands-on coach. So I don't know. I mean, it's obviously a lot of ways to go about it, but
yeah, well, I think you're dead on. Rick Tockett's right. Not all players love all coaches, man. Okay,
I'll be your coach. I won't be your friend.
Yeah,
if
but
you one of them take it up with Dr. Coach Patrick.
But what you have to do is respect them. You don't have to love them. You just got to respect the guy in the building.
I agree.
All right. So do you believe the 2025 Philadelphia Eagle run game will be better than the 2024 Eagle run game?
Better this year than last year? No, that's going to be a big uphill battle. I'm gonna go ahead and take the under on that one, Big Sills. I mean, 25. What did they have? 25 something last year. Best in the NFL history, with including the playoffs. Over 2,000 yards in the regular season.
I thought it was 26, but okay.
Yeah, it's like 25 something. I think late. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I forget. But I mean, it's going to be tough to top, my friend. I mean, they don't call it history for nothing. So that's going to be tough to top. I'm taking the under on that one. I still think it'll be very good, but it's not going to be that good, I don't think.
But I would say this to you, that means this. Don't you think that Hurts has to be more involved in the run game?
Well, maybe. I mean, I think I could. I think as confident as I was saying that, I could very well be wrong. Saquon could march all over these fools again.
He could.
Belt to ass. I know he's that good, and the offensive line's that good. So I'm not saying that it's not a possibility. And then you bring in Jalen Hurts through the air with a couple of daggers. I think Jalen Hurts. I in our bold predictions a couple of weeks ago, I had him at top 5 in the top 3 in the MVP. I'm up in that. I think Hurts wins the MVP this year.
Okay, here.
I really believe that. I think Jalen Hurts has an MVP level season this year.
I know you would. Okay, I love this Yahoo list here of quarterbacks on the 2025 entering the season. Look at this.
Oh, yeah, list. Yahoo. Let me listen to Yahoo.
Yahoo Sports comes out with the top 10 quarterbacks entering the season. CJ Stroud at 10. Jordan Love at 9. Geno Smith at 8. Dak Prescott at 7. Matthew Stafford at 6. Justin Herbert at 5. Joe Burrow at 4. Josh Allen at 3. Jackson at 2 and Patrick Mahomes number 1. Now remember, Big Sills didn't make this list. This ain't me. I'm just reading.
That's the worst list I've ever heard.
The Geno Smith one.
Where's Jalen Hurts?
Where's Jaden Daniels? I mean, both those guys are not. Both guys were in the NFC title game.
No. I don't care where Jaden Daniels is. The guy has been in the league for 1 year. Where's the Super Bowl MVP?
Hey, the Super Bowl MVP is in Galveston. Let me tell you this. Or no, he's in Santa Monica hanging out with, everybody there.
Galveston, bro. That was like 2020 stuff. Come on, man.
Hey, let me hear. Why do you think they still disrespect the guy? That's disrespect.
Because they get a reaction. That's why.
Dude, I see a ton of lists where they don't have him in the top 10.
Well, because a lot of people need reactions.
Oh, wait a minute. So they're just using Jalen Hurts to get a reaction?
Yeah, I do. I think that's probably 75% of it.
I think, all kidding aside, I don't think they respect the guy from the pocket. And I tell you this, they're missing it. You're right. You know why? Here, let's do this.
There's some of that. There's some truth to that.
Well, okay. In a big game, 60 minutes, and everything was equal, would I take C.J. Stroud or Jalen Hurts? Come on, I'm taking Hurts, right? Now, if you're going to draft a guy, you're going to take Stroud. But are you going to – Jordan Love in a big game versus Jalen Hurts, again.
No, I don't get it. Why do you want to draft C.J. Stroud over Hurts?
Because he's a better talent. Remember,
I've seen the results of drafting.
You've got the hindsight now. Wait a minute. You've got the hindsight now of Hurts in the NFL.
Well, of course.
You're right. Well, guess what? If you're drafting these guys, you're not drafting Jalen Hurts over C.J. Stroud.
Well, if you zoom back 5 years ago before you knew what he was going to do, sure, maybe he wouldn't have. He didn't even line up above the guys in the 2020 draft. So I think that's kind of a moot point, though. Has it changed or not?
No. What I'm saying to you is that nobody would look at Jalen Hurts and think he's more skilled as a player than C.J. Stroud. He doesn't have a better arm. He doesn't have a better arm or commanding in the pocket.
I don't think that's the only skill.
By the way, that football team leans on him. You lean on your running. Zander, Jalen Hurts and C.J. Stroud do not have the same talent.
We have a different gauge.
Where has he exhibited this as a player from the pocket?
Well, that's not all it's about.
Patrick Mahomes is not a better quarterback than Joe Burrow. Burrow can't help it. He's not on it.
I go by the definition that Tom Brady told us on how to play quarterback.
Right.
Do you get your team into the right play at the line of scrimmage? And then when you run that play, do you get the ball where the ball needs to go to have success? Jalen Hurts has done that at such a high level. How can I say I want C.J. Stroud over him because he's got a good arm?
He would never be drafted over a guy like Herbert or them guys ever. In a million years would he be coming. If you're going to build a team, you're going to build a team with a quarterback that knows how to go from the pocket. Now, again, it's a different conversation on how he has been winning games. Completely true. He utilizes a lot of the skills around him to the best of his ability. He totally does. But Jalen Hurts is not asked to handle the game and carry a team week to week. He's not. He's just not. Last year, the majority of the wins did
but
not.
None of the guys that are win, so I don't really care.
But you're giving this kid credit because of a defensive effort you had a year ago also. And how he constructed.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna use that to downplay what the guy has done.
You can't use it against Joe Burrow for him playing on a shitty defense.
Well, I say he's talented, but I care more about the team that can go anywhere.
So you're not going to count it for Hurts because he has the number one.
What do you mean?
Defense.
I do count it.
Burrow has the number 32nd defense. You're going to count that against him for not carrying his team.
I didn't count it against him. At what point does the macro come into play?
Wait. I'm asking a question here. You're not counting that against Hurts because Hurts has the number one defense. Okay, fair enough. How do you count that against other
these aren't the same examples.
Let me finish. How do you take that same metric you're using when they don't have the great organization, and they have the 32nd ranked defense. How do you not count that against him?
Well, because they're not perfect examples. The Eagles were a good football team that actually got the job done. The Bengals didn't get the job done. So it's so easy to isolate and say the offense performed, the defense didn't. If the defense didn't perform, they would have done better. The Eagles have worked on all 8 cylinders, or whatever you want to call it. I can't. That's not a good comp.
It totally is. You're telling me.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is, and I'm going to tell you how.
The Bengals didn't achieve shit.
Jalen being on a good team, that shouldn't count against them. Joe Burrow being on a shitty team, it should.
I didn't say that.
Okay. Well, that's why Burrow and Herbert.
Every time I've ever ranked quarterbacks,
that's why those other guys are not as fortunate to be on those teams. That's why they look at them in a higher light, because they've got to do more, because they're on lesser teams.
Yeah, but I don't care about that.
Okay, well, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I put Joe Burrow in my top 5 quarterbacks. He's obviously a great player, but I value what Jalen Hurts does above basically anybody in the league right now outside of Mahomes.
Hey, like I said,
now, if you're going to run a fantasy draft or reset the NFL and draft or whatever you want to call it, yeah, sure, there's going to be some guys that people take above Hurts, but I like Hurts in this system for this team, and I'm not going to use all the things that against them to say, CJ Stroud is better.
I'm not going to go here and try to go like this and say, well, Hurts, you can't take the shit away from him because he's on a good team. And then when the other guys aren't on good teams, well, fuck them. They can't carry your team because the guy, that's an excuse for him. Oh, okay. Well, wait a minute. You're using one metric to not take anything away from Hurts, but you're countering that by taking it away from Allen, Burrow, Herbert, the rest of these guys, because they're not on good teams. That makes no sense to me a little bit there.
Well, not really, because people just use that as justification for those guys. I mean, if they can't win, if you're saying to me, wait a second, if you're saying to me, though, the best of the best of the best quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, whatever you think they are, don't win because they don't have a good enough team.
Yeah.
And then Jalen Hurts does win.
Yeah.
Why do you use that against them? Because you're admitting, though, the best quarterback need a great team too.
I'm using the eyeball test. Those guys are better.
Okay, so your eyeball test is not the arbiter of all things true.
No. I mean, well, I tell you what, I'm not the only one that thinks that.
I know you're not. There's plenty of people that think that. It's also very popular to dislike Jalen Hurts. I'm a results guy. I don't really care, I don't really care that people say he has a better arm or that okay, that's good. Take that accolade and run with it.
Jalen Hurts gets penalized because he's on a good team. Okay, that's what you hear all the time. But then when you go like this, well, Joe Burrow's on a shitty team, and that's an excuse. Okay. I mean, okay. Joe Burrow's on a bad team. Fuck that. He's got to win. He's on a bad team. Hurts is on a great team. He wins. Can't count that against him. Okay.
I didn't get that. No.
Wait a minute. I'm not either.
That's not a perfect comp.
Oh, it totally is, because the reason why people think Burrow is better is because, dude, all you got to do is
Joe Burrow is so much better, but he needs a damn great team too. So if Joe Burrow needs a damn great team and Josh Allen needs a damn great team for them to win, and Jalen Hurts wins with a damn great team, why the hell is that a knock? You see, the constants are the quarterbacks.
I'm not knocking him. Good for him. That's great. He's in a great situation. These other guys are not.
Well, I mean, I guess you could say it makes it harder to get a gauge on the player individually.
Look, he's delivering. I'm using the same metric on how people see in Philly Jalen as I would Allen, Burrow, Herbert, Mahomes, Lamar. Every one of those guys, I completely look at. Now, look, Lamar Jackson has no excuses this year.
Yeah, and like everybody and their mother is picking them to go to the Super Bowl. And I got news. I'm not.
Bro.
You're picking them to go to the bowl. Johnny Mack picked them to go to the bowl. Jeff Kerr picked them. We had 4 guests in the last 2 weeks that have picked them. I'm not picking the. It's not that I don't like them. I don't think that they're going to win in the moment.
Why don't you like the team going?
Oh, I love the team. The roster is as good as it gets. I mean, that roster is probably the best roster in the AFC easily.
June 23rd, not to put a slam dunk on it, who would you say gets there? And obviously, you're picking the Eagles to get back to Santa Clara.
I
So
think the Bills. I think it's the Bills this year. I think the Bills improved their defense. They added Nick Bosa. I like the guy that they drafted. I think they have a good chance. And I think Josh Allen's a better quarterback than all of them. I think he's better than Joe Burrow. I think he's better than Lamar Jackson. And I think he's going to lead that team. I also think Josh Allen is the one quarterback that hasn't gone yet that has shown that when the moment is brightest, he will play incredible. I mean, let's be real. Mark Andrews dropped the pass last year, and it sucked. Lamar Jackson had 3 turnovers in that football game. When Josh Allen gets knocked from the playoffs, it's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes scoring with 13 seconds left to go after Josh Allen throws 4 touchdown passes to Gabe freaking Davis. Okay? So Josh Allen has showed how good he is in those moments, and he is truly a case of I don't think everything else worked around him enough it's a team game. I mean, that's the reality. You need defense. You need special teams. You need receivers. You need people to make plays around you. That's the reality. I think Josh Allen has the best chance to go this year. And if not, I'm still not out on the Chiefs just yet. I mean, 9 straight. I know it's better to be early than late, and you're probably right this year saying they've regressed to the pack, but I don't like Justin Herbert that much, man. I don't. And I don't think they're going to lose yet that division.
I think Jim Harbaugh is the X factor. Everywhere he goes, bro.
But they got Andy in Kansas City.
Yeah, well, I tell you, and I agree, and I think Andy's great, but I think that roster's regressed. I mean, where do you see a top flight player outside of the quarterback and the defensive tackle in the corner?
Where?
On Kansas City. Where do you see an elite player?
I mean, they do have solid players there. They're one of those teams that gets production in uncharacteristic ways sometimes. So I'm not saying it meets the eye test right now, but sometimes that team is one of those teams that when you really don't think they have it anywhere, okay, they just do. So I don't know. I'm waiting to see.
The most important place, quarterback.
Right. And he's that good. He really has been that level of an equalizer. Much, here's the thing I'll still say about Mahomes. And I've heard some people say they don't think he's as talented as the other guys or whatever the case may be. I think you're going to start to see more of that conversation happen. But it's already started to happen. He is, in my eyes, with the way I view Jalen Hurts, right? I mean, and again, not everybody views him this way, but I have Jalen number 2. Patrick Mahomes is miles ahead of the second best quarterback in the NFL. Because of the success with the team he's had and actually having the success. It's one thing to say, oh, Josh Allen, he doesn't have any hardware. Mahomes has 3 rings with, I think, teams that weren't all that great.
Okay. Well, let me, I made this topic I think about 3 years ago. I said this: the gap between 1 and 2 during the Mahomes era is so much wider than Brady and Peyton Manning era that it's him and everyone else. You know what I mean? You could really take from 2 to 10, right, Zander? And you could pretty much throw them in a hat and come out with them. Maybe top 6. You could probably go top 6 or 5, or the rest after him, right? You could probably put him in any order after that.
Yeah, I agree.
But with him and the second best player in the game at that position, I just think it's night and day, man. I mean, and again, it's proven by what he's done on the football field and the success, So I'm trying to be consistent with it because I give Jalen credit for the success that he's had. And some people say that's all team. I do. I think that's your best take on Jalen. He's the smartest player in the game.
And that's an art. There's an art to that. I think Mahomes is there too, though. I mean, you can't lead a team to a Super Bowl, right? But you can't lead that AFC team he had to the Super Bowl without being a smart player and understanding situational football. And I think Jalen does that well. I think Patrick Mahomes does that exceptionally well.
Here's why Jalen's smarter than Mahomes. This guy's had 6 fucking coordinators since he's been in Philly. Patrick's had 1 in his ear talking to him on how to play the game. Hurts has had to figure it out 6 different ways, right? Press Taylor, Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen, Brian Johnson, Kellen Moore, and now Kevin Patullo. That's 6 different coordinators. How many freaking years has he been there? 5? Is he going into his 5th year now? Or 6th year as an Eagle? He's had 6 years.
5th year as a starter.
Okay. He's going into his 6th
year
year
as an Eagle, yep.
He's had 6 different coordinators in his ear. I mean, that is a ton, dude.
Yeah, I think it's a feather in his cap. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I wrote down some
Duke can do anything, though. I mean, that's the thing. You know what I mean? RPO, run-based, pass-based. It didn't matter. He's done everything. And I think it's made him more versatile, and it's lifted up all his skill sets that now, you know, whatever you do put him in, whatever position you do put him in, he is positioned to thrive. Now, whether he seizes that moment is a different question, but I do think he is positioned to be able to do it. I know he has.
Oh, he has seized the moment. I mean, 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl. That's seizing the moment. You know what? I hope they bring back that RPO because I watched the NFC championship game, Zander, over the weekend of 2022. And the way he froze Fred Warner and the way he froze Greenlaw, man, if you did that with Barkley, he'd run for $3,000. Bro, I think you got to put that back in the offense. You put that back in the offense, man. His decision making on that play.
That's a different beast. Like I don't know. Do you want Jalen to be back to that?
Why not? He could throw the ball. He would look how effective. Let me ask you this: do you think he threw the ball better running the RPO or without it? His best year is 22.
Yeah, but I think that was the start of him getting better as a passer, and I think now he's built up all the other areas, and it's kind of everything rising up, and he has a higher potential, higher ceiling playing football this way than if he went back to the RPO.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to have a radical. And I'm not saying you say that either. I don't think there's also all of a sudden going to be some epiphany where they got to get him up to 28 attempts a game. I think
Hurts is an MVP this year. I really do. I think Hurts is an MVP this year. I think you're going to see some issues on the defense. All right, where it takes a little bit of time there. I think the youth on the defense, if I'm speaking honestly, is going to be a small issue. I'm not saying it's not a good thing that we're young, but you don't see that many teams go to win Super Bowls with this level of youth. And I know they're all, you know, mature cats. I do agree with that, but I think that's your issue. You're probably going to be a little bit of a lower defense right now to start the year. And I think Hurts is going to put the team on his back. And they got a tough schedule. There's going to be a lot of signature games and signature moments for Jalen Hurts, including ending the season with Commanders, Bills, Commanders. You have 3 great games there and close out Jaden Daniels and Josh Allen. You'll be in the MVP.
How about this? Okay. So that means more passing attempts like he was in 23. Concerned about more turnovers because when you upped his volume in attempts, he had 15 picks and 6 fumbles. That was 21 turnovers.
I think you got to give a little. I mean, if he gets a couple more turnovers, I'll be able to live with it if the production is there on the other side, right? I mean, I don't think
the completion percentage is high.
Yeah, and I think there's a breaking point there where it's like if you get to a point where you're at a turnover a game or a turnover plus a game, all right, we got a big issue. But if you're still under that level, but you're talking about 4 to 8, 9 in the year, I'm good with that. I'm not going to sit here and stress about a couple of throws that get picked off. I mean, it also depends on the nature. What's going on? Are they tip deflections? Is he forcing balls? Is he off target? What's going on with the interception? So I don't think it's a huge deal. I think he will protect the ball. I think that's always been his MO for most of his career. 23 is kind of the outlier with turnovers for him. So I think he's going to be good overall in turnovers.
Let me ask you, before I get to I wrote down some props, some brand new prop bets that just came out, and I'm going to throw them at you here. But in 2025, who are you going to see step up more with these 2 men? Jahan Dodson or Goddard?
Goddard, no doubt. Goddard. Jalen likes Goddard. I don't know where Jalen is with Dodson, and more so, I don't know if it's about their connection as much as it's about the offense that they run. When they are offense, when they are run heavy, it does limit how many throws can be made. And when there's a limit on how many throws can be made, it puts a priority on each play even more, which doesn't allow you as much to get to the third, fourth option on a team. And that's where I think there's just not. I don't think they're ever going to throw the ball 50 times a game. So I don't think there's ever going to be a big role for Jahan Dotson before there is for Dallas Goddard. I think Goddard has a much bigger role this year, and I think he's going to. I think it's him. I think it's him over at Dotson.
I wrote these 5 names down as the best general managers in North America. See if you agree with it. I got Bill Zito, number 1 from the Florida Panthers, 3 straight Stanley Cup championship runs, 2 in a row. They've won, going for a 4th in a row next year. I got Andrew Friedman.
Hard to win him.
You bet, man. I got Andrew Friedman, number 2, the Los Angeles Dodgers GM. I got Howie Roseman, number 3. I think he's the best in football. I got Sam Presti from the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think he's 4. I think what he did this year from start to finish, they were number 1. And on top of that, they've built a hell of an organization, dude. It's the cheapest roster in all the NBA. And in that sport where guaranteed contracts are important, I think that's incredible. And at number 5, I got Brett Veach, who has helped his football team get to 3 straight Super Bowls, winning 2 of them. Those are my top 5 general managers in all sports in North America.
That's pretty good.
Howie 3rd.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Who'd you have 5th?
Let's see here. Let me double check here again. I had Brett Veach from Kansas City. He's been to 3 straight Super Bowls, and he's been to 5 in the last 6 years. So those are all guys who are winning right now. I mean, nobody else is doing anything better than what those
Dodgers
guys
have what? Well, how many have they won?
2. Under Andrew Friedman, they've won 2. They won 2 World Series in the last, I think, 5 years, counting the Disney World thing, whatever that was during COVID. All right. I got some prop bets here for you. Jalen Hurts, over under 3,200 yards.
Over. Smash the over and smash it hard. Smash
4,000?
it.
Don't you think the
like
closer he
4,000's in range? I'm not as worried about the number. I think it's fun to be on a show and say, 4,000 yards. I think that's really fun and people are entertained by that. But I'm not that worried about the number. I think it's close to 4K though. I do think it could be 36 to
4
to 4 in that range.
36 to 4. All right. Saquon Barkley. Over under 1,373.33 yards.
Is that what the over under is set at right now?
That's the over under.
Okay, what book is that?
I think it's MGM Bets.
Okay. That's pretty low, but Vegas is pretty good at this stuff. I'm gonna
but if you look at the guys following 2K seasons,
that's where they're getting it from.
Right around that number.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over, though. I think Saquon has the best offense. John pointed out a good thing last week. He said, now we've talked a lot about the players who've ran for 2K not getting back, but what we haven't talked about is that none of them have had an offensive line as good as the Philadelphia Eagles have. So let's see. I think Saquon has a good chance to go over.
Jahan Dotson has a line. 19 catches, 216 yards, over under.
Ooh, that's pretty low. I'm going to go ahead and take the over.
I'm taking the over on that.
I'm going to take the over. I was going to say under before I heard the number, and I think the number enticed me to go over.
Yeah, I'm going over on him.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown, 1,151.7 yards.
Over. Okay. You can't throw for 36 to 4,000 yards without getting A.J. Brown a lot of the football. Okay. I think he's way over. So quite frankly, I'd take the over on 1,400 this year.
Over on 1,400.
Yeah.
Okay. Dallas Goddard over 675.5 yards.
Over. Barely, but over.
So I think he's a 750 guy.
I think he's 750 to 8. You're right in my range. That's what I was thinking. And Yale right there too, 750 to 8.
If I were Dallas Goddard, I would go next year to Kansas City. I'd go to Kansas City, man, if I were him.
Oh man, that's a perfect fit.
Isn't it?
Oh, man.
I would
It's
go
a
to
perfect fit.
I totally would.
I hope he doesn't end up there, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, Kansas City. Devontae Smith, over under 975.5 yards.
Over.
So you think you're going to have another season of two dudes over 1K?
Yes.
Do you know how rare that is?
I got AJ at 15. This is in my head, all right? I got AJ 15, Devontae 13.
Wow.
I got Goddard 6 to 7. Yeah, I'm going to go over my number then. If I got 200 to the running backs, 300 to Dodson, that's 500 yards. If I got 700 to Goddard, that's 1,200 yards.
Yeah.
That's too much. No, I have, ready? AJ 15, Devontae 13, Goddard 7. Running.
That's 2,800. 7 comes out to that's 3,500.
Now I got Dodson 300 and running backs 200.
Wait a minute. Dodson and Barkley get
300. Dodson 300, running back 200.
Yeah, that's 4K.
4K, baby.
Yeah, that's 4K there. Yeah. Over under Eagles 11.5 wins.
Over.
How many wins you got them having this year?
13.
Oh no.
I was thinking 14, but
14. Bro, they're gonna win
13.
At most they'll win 12.
Look at all these nerds. 15 and 13 is crazy. Jesse, you better be your ass better be in here. All right, in next January. Your ass better be in here next January.
Okay.
15 and 13 is coming.
I did write down my top 10 post-OTAs teams. Okay.
Wait, let me ask these people who think that that's not possible. Do they think that Devontae Smith is never going to have a breakout season? Is he just going to be this guy forever? The player that you see make insane catches routinely, and he only ever gets 1,000 yards?
Why? That's
what
Mike
do we
Evans
think
did? Why? So Mike Evans did for 11 years.
I don't think that's Devontae Smith. I think Devontae Smith has a higher upside. I watched him have a Heisman Trophy in college.
Okay, so you think that Devontae Smith's going to have a better career than Mike Evans?
I didn't say that. I said
Mike Evans
is no, but he's a steady Eddie guy like this.
Okay,
right?
1,100 yards.
There's people that have bigger ups and downs like that.
Yeah, but he's 1,100 guy. But he's 1,100.
In a single season, I think Devontae could get more.
But he's an 1,100 guy, 1,200, and that's what he is too. I don't think there's anything fucking wrong with that. I mean,
I got 1,300 for Smitty. If I'm wrong, so be it.
You think he's a Hall of Fame player?
Smitty? Nah. Hall of Fame is for the Hall of Fame. I mean,
you think he ever becomes the number one guy here?
Potentially. I mean, I think they would move on from AJ before they would move on from him.
Oh, but by far, I would too.
Well, AJ is a better player.
He is, but he's older.
He's older.
That's the only reason. I'm not saying no. Hey, dude, AJ Brown.
It's not going to be an air raid for us. It's going to be a better balance with more passing this year.
No, they're not going to all of a sudden.
Again, my take on the passing.
Why would they?
Is less about me wanting Jalen to throw the ball more and more about you have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. It is criminal to not get those guys involved because if you think not getting them involved gives you the best chance to win on a week-in, week-out basis on the long term, I don't agree. I think having those guys involved is the best case scenario.
Okay.
With that in mind, build your game plans with that in mind. Saquon, A.J., Devontae.
Okay.
Get them the ball.
Okay, so then you're saying 2024, they basically didn't get as involved as you wanted was more because of injury or more because the Barkley?
Well, both. I mean, both.
So wait a minute. If those guys hadn't been hurt, you think they would have threw the ball more?
Well, no, I misunderstood your question. But AJ did have 1,000 yards of 4 missed games.
No, I'm asking. because it's a
No,
it's
but I'm just saying,
interesting question.
last year with the offense the way it was, no
Yeah.
changes. AJ had 1,000 with 4 missed games.
Okay.
So if he played those 4 games, you could map it out what the average was per game. It'd be 1,400.
Well, wait a minute here. Again, so you're saying this. If those guys didn't get hurt, they would have. Don't you think maybe those guys getting hurt helped them make an easier decision on going to that run game? Because don't you think if those guys didn't get hurt,
yeah,
they would have been throwing the ball more, and wouldn't
they probably would have. I mean, that's where we've talked about this. This is where I think it was circumstantial last year, which is why I don't hold it against Jalen Hurts, because they struggled early. Yes, we all admit that. All right, which isn't uncommon, by the way, with a brand new offensive coordinator. I mean, it's just not that uncommon to struggle early in a football season, especially when you don't play any preseason. So they struggled early, and then yes, they pushed the ball into Saquon's hands. It worked so well; they never had to go the other way. So it's like it was circumstantial in that. We went to it because we needed a jump start. It's like going to a backup goalie in hockey, and then he fucking never gives up a goal. You're like, well, I didn't really want to put the guy on the bench forever, but the other guy was so damn good, I didn't need to take it out. So, that's kind of how I see it. It was circumstantial to run the ball like that, man, and it worked out.
So I wrote down my top 10 OTA teams. This is going into training camp. By the way, Zander, it is July 31st. The Hall of Fame game is July 31st, Zander. That means that the Lions and the Chargers have to report the second week of July. Do you know how quick that is? That's 3 weeks away from the start of training camp for the Lions and the Chargers. 3 weeks.
Gear up, baby. Gear up, baby. It's busy season. It's busy season for me.
That's 21 days away.
I know.
They're going to training camp. Holy
29 days till the Eagles report, dude.
How about this one? I got Packers at 10. I got the Bucks at 9. I got the Texans at 8. I got the Lions at 7. I got the Chiefs at 6. I got the Commanders at 5. I've got the Rams at 4. I've got the Ravens at 3. I've got the Bills at 2. And I've got the Eagles at 1.
What was that, rosters?
No, these are the top 10, rosters heading into training camp right now. I've got Packers 10, Bucks 9, Texans 8, Lions 7, Chiefs 6, Commanders 5, Rams 4, Ravens 3, Bills 2, and Eagles 1. I could probably change
Lions
out.
Too low. Lions are too low. 7?
7.
You think the Commanders roster is better than the Lions roster?
I think their quarterback's better.
Oh, well, that's okay. So your overall team, you're going team here, just teams that you think are the best teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Lions way above them. Who'd you have 6?
Chiefs.
I got them below the Lions as well. I got them above the Commanders as well. So I probably have the Lions 5, then the Chiefs 6, then the Commanders 7. And then you had Eagles, Bills,
Ravens.
Wow. Okay. You have Bills above the Ravens. Are you picking the Ravens out of the AFC?
I believe that the Ravens are going to get to the AFC title game. I think they're going to get in it, and I think they're going to win it, but I want to see them first. I think the Bills have an easier road because of the schedule, Zander, playing in the AFC East. So they're going to have an easier road to get to the AFC title game.
Yeah, they have an easy schedule.
By the way, I'm going to tell you this. I think the Texans have a better roster than the Chiefs. I think they have a better roster than the Commanders. I think they have a better roster than the Bills. I mean, dude, that defense, they're not weak at any level. I think their O-line is probably an area where I would be concerned with, because I still think they're a little bit suspect in that O-line.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, guys, hit the like button. Couple supers here we got, Zander.
Let's do it. Jeff Bone, the Bonehead, member for 11 months. Look at that, 11 months. How you doing? Bonehead, thank you, brother, man. I appreciate you, Bonehead.
Yep, absolutely great. Thank you so much.
Yep, absolutely. Kyle Kokorski. Kyle, thank you for all your support today, as always, and all of our great super chatters. Thank you guys for helping reach us our super
It's been
chat
great
goals.
today, too, by the way, guys.
Super chat goals, too, this week, because we're trying to keep everything moving here in June and July, obviously the dead zone. So the support goes a long way. We appreciate you all. How do we not know Mahomes doesn't regress a little bit once Andy Reid retires? When's Andy Reid retiring?
A different play caller would be something to be concerned about. But again, I mean, don't you eventually think this, Kyle? Eventually, Andy Reid has got, when he leaves, Mahomes, after all these years, don't you think he would know
what
he's doing out there?
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Why does everybody think Andy Reid's going to walk away from Patrick Mahomes?
Why would he?
He's 67 years old. Patrick Mahomes is 29. If Mahomes has 5-6 good years left in his prime, that gets Andy Reid to 72 to 73 years old. He's not walking away from this guy. That would be like Bill Belichick walking away from Tom Brady. I mean, come on. This guy's a generational talent. Yeah. This guy is one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever grace football. I don't think he's walking away.
How about this one, too? All-time wins for coaches, NFL. Let me see where he is on that list. All-time winningest coaches. Okay, so Don Shula has 328. Belichick's at 302. He's finished. Andy Reid is at 273 right now. So let's say he wins another 13. That puts him at 286. So within a matter of 4 years, if that guy wins 12 or more games, he's going to be right at Shula's number as the all-time winningest coach in NFL history. And like you said, he's 66. Bro, I don't know about you, but I mean, 37 away from 300. And then you're talking about 4 years. That would put him close to 328. I mean, you're talking about him chasing down Don Shula.
Yeah, it's incredible. I don't think he's going
and be one of only 3 coaches to win 300 games. Don't you think
it'll be interesting to hear Angelo Cataldi after this. Jesse G says, how many QBs would the 2024 Eagles win the Super Bowl with? 1.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that convo anymore. I think every play, every sitcom, every movie.
Saying that. Exactly. It requires a certain type of player and actor for that play. Like you just said.
Do you think somebody could play Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossibles? I don't. You know what I mean? Or do you think somebody could play like Marlon Brando in The Godfather?
Yeah,
I don't believe somebody could do that, you know?
Leon says Vic is too blunt and doesn't give enough. I think we got that one. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. He that's why Vic wasn't a good head coach, because when he
East Coast says Jahan Dodson. I have my friend saying his name like that. Thanks for the great show every day. Thank you, East Costa Rico.
Thank you very much. That was cool. Yeah.
Give him a Jahan
Dodson. There you go, brother. He's
round like the greatest acquisition.
One of Dan's favorite guys, man.
No, he's really not. I mean, he was kind of a stiff last year, but he had a big catch in the Super Bowl, so I kind of love him. I mean, you make a big catch in the Super Bowl, you live in Eagles floor. It's just how it works. I don't make the rules.
The thing I heard today by Jeff Kerr going, Nick made the call. I'm like, bro, it's the guys you guys draft and sign that make your culture.
I almost got you to admit there that Nick Sirianni's an excellent football coach today when at the start of the segment.
What? Excellent.
I'd encourage everybody to go back and re-listen. I almost got Sileo to fully admit it.
No, he's a modern day.
Sileo, doesn't everything Sirianni is why Fangio fails to be a head coach? And Nick and Jim Sills went.
Yes.
It was like a light bulb.
No, it is, because Nick's a good ass kisser. You got to be a great
How you doing? Excited for the season. I believe in a lot of the young players taking over. Nick Winiani is elite. Yes, he is. I agree.
He is. Nick Winiani. It's the greatest thing I heard Jeff Kerr say today was, you got to give – and I heard John say it too. You got to give Nick credit for the culture in the building. I'm like, no, you don't. You give Howie the credit for the guys he drafted and signed. Bro, if you hire assholes and you put assholes in the building like T.O., you know what you're signing. when you go out and do your due diligence and you hire winners, the kid from Georgia, the captains, and guys who played 4 years, and you bring those kind of guys into your building, the people that you bring into your building create the culture, not the fucking coach. The coach is a product of it.
Yeah, okay, so yeah.
Nick Sirianni is a product of it.
No, he's not.
Oh, okay, he's not. You're right.
He's the only man. He's the only guy in the world that's not gauged on his success. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, you're right. Hey, Nick, good way to go for the. You talk about a caboose. That guy's the ultimate caboose.
No.
That guy's in the back with the. He's playing the. He's like, hey, don't forget me, guys. He's like the guy in the platform. The bus takes off or the train takes off. He's got to run for it.
What was our bet about getting rid of that helmet above you? What was it again? I don't remember.
I forget.
I need like a tracker of one of the people in the chat needs to start tracking the shit we say on here so I can keep track of it all year long.
Oh my God Almighty. Zander wants that hat moved because every time I do an interview, the only thing that shows up is that fucking cowboy helmet.
Thanks. Not even a good helmet.
Tomorrow, man. Paige is on tomorrow. Real DDP.
Oh yeah, Diamond Dallas. Yeah, that should be good, man.
Diamond
Goldberg's
Dallas,
blowing up. The wrestling outlets love big sills, baby.
Zander goes like this. So get this. So I reached out to Roman Reigns. I also reached out to Triple H. I know him very well. And so I'm trying to get Triple H on because, he's the head booker.
Yeah, I know I know he's the head honcho.
And so I even got a text from dude. I got a text from Pat McAfee. Pat goes, what are you doing? And I go, well, no, my guy told me, he goes, maybe we should start adding some wrestling. All these wrestling guys you wrestled. And he goes, what are you taking my gimmick now? I go, oh, no. I go like this. I go, what? Goes, hey, I've reached out to The Rock. I'm trying to get The Rock on for summer.
Yeah,
but I'm trying to get him live.
Yeah.
Trying to get him live.
That would be great.
All
right, brother. Great segment today.
As always, my friend, I will see you.
All right, Sills. Thank you, guys. Thank you all. Appreciate each and every one of you. Hit the like button for Big Sills. Let him know Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in football.
Angelo loves him too, by the way. So make sure you guys hit that like button here. Yeah, absolutely. Angelo loves him. Not so much Nick Sirianni. Oh, by the way, make sure you guys go to AngeloCataldi.com. We're going to get Angie up here in a minute. We're going to get his takeaways. Yeah, so let me go through this again. This is my